Welcome to the tutorial on posting content within your Blackboard course. Every Blackboard course at Fisher should have a link on the left-hand side for course materials, and usually that's the best place to be posting content. Content can be anything that the instructor wants to share with students. So it could be Word documents, PowerPoint files, PDF files, Excel files, image files, links to a website, whatever type of information that you need to post that you would like students to then do something with. So let me show you how to post those things. So in course materials, everything that we're talking about that has to do with posting content is really going to be in this build content menu. You can see there's a lot of options in here, but I really would recommend using just one or two. The main ones that are used are create item, web link, YouTube video, and content folder. So if you start posting content within course materials and you've not used folders, you'll see that you can have a lot of information just on one page and it becomes very long and hard for students to find maybe what it is that they're looking for. So content folders would be the first thing I want to show you, which is really just a useful way to segment what's in this course materials area into smaller groupings of whatever makes sense in your course. You can see here I've got unit 1, 2, 3. They could be by week, they could be by topic, they could be by chapter. It really just depends on whatever makes the most sense for your course and your content, but folders can be really helpful. So let's first just build a folder. We'll build a unit 4 here. So build content, content folder. We'll give it a name, unit 4. And you can put information within this HTML editor here. This can be a description of what's in the folder. It can be the dates and times that this folder applies to students. It can be any type of information you want, or you can leave this box completely blank and the name of the folder is all that they'll see at the top level. And then also what's really helpful about folders, just like anything in Blackboard, you have these standard options. You can control if you want students to see the folder or not, and if you want them to have access to it, but not until a certain day. The nice thing about this is that if you put things within a folder that are all grouped together that you don't want students to see until a certain day, you only have to set this date and setting once at the folder level rather than having to set it multiple times on all of the files within the folder. So especially if you're looking to restrict access until some later time in the semester, folders are a really great way to do that. So if you just want students to see this information today, you just leave it at permit users view the content yes, and you don't need to set any date display after or display until. If you want them to see it but not until a future date, I would recommend leaving this as a yes to view it, but choosing display after, and then using this calendar icon and the clock icon to choose the day and time that you want them to see it. So maybe we don't want them to see this until sometime later, and maybe by end of the day. So that would restrict students to be able to see this content until that day and time arrives. I would also recommend using these options when you're entering the date and the time rather than trying to type it into this box manually. The formatting is very specific and sometimes it won't accept it if you type it in, but it will if you choose it from these icons. So use the icons. We don't often use display until. That's mostly because this will take the information away from the students, and there's usually not a lot of situations that we want to pull information from student view. One common situation I have seen this used is if it's like exam solutions or something that you post up but only for a short time and then you want to take them back down from student access. That might be a time that you use display until. But otherwise, we usually just leave that blank. The other option I would say is that you can not use the display after to control the date. You can just use this manual toggle. If you want to set this to a no, you can create a folder that students can't see today. You just have to remember to come back at whatever later time that you do want them to see it and manually change this to a yes. So just the ability to program that in with a day usually puts faculty at ease so that we don't forget to go back and turn that on. So that is the settings for the folder level. When you're done with those, just go ahead and hit submit. Remember, folders always show up at the bottom of the list. Whatever you create in Blackboard shows up at the bottom of the list, but you can use the arrow option to the left, put your cursor over and just drag it up. And so you can move these folders around and content items around as much as you want so that they appear in the most organized fashion. Okay, so that is a content folder. Inside a folder, I'm going to click on my first folder here. Inside a folder is where you will usually start posting the actual documents or resources you want to share with students. So this is where, under the Build Content menu, Create Item probably does 90% of what you need to post. Web link is also essential, though, if you're posting any links for students out to the web somewhere that you want them to go explore. A web link is a great way to do that. And then YouTube video is also a helpful way to pull in YouTube videos into a Blackboard course. YouTube videos can also be done with a web link, but a web link will really just show some brief text and open in a new window, whereas a YouTube video, if you use this mashup tool, will actually provide a screenshot and the actual video to play right in the Blackboard window, rather than sending them out to the site, which will show them a lot of other videos and ads and other things you might not want them to be distracted with. So for YouTube videos, I recommend doing it this way. If you do use Ensemble or have Ensemble videos already posted that you would like to embed in your Blackboard course, this is also the link that you can do that for Ensemble videos, which is our own Fisher-owned kind of media streaming server. So I'm going to start with content item, which is the majority of what you will use. A content item, again, can have whatever name makes most sense for what you're posting. Again, you can post information within this box. It can actually be the content. You could copy and paste from Word or other places directly in this box if you wanted to do that. It may be instructions. It can be anything you need. You can create tables. You can insert images. You can use the formatting tools to make it look however you need to. So that's your HTML editor. And then you can also attach files. Attaching files from your own computer, attaching browse course would be files you've already posted the course somewhere else. And then cloud storage would give you access to other cloud storage tools if you use those. Most of the time it'll be from your own computer. And then just choose the file that you would like to upload, and it'll appear here. You can change the link title for students if you want them to see something else. And then you have the same standard options that we talked about at the folder level if you need to use those. Now remember, if this item is inside a folder, the standard options and permissions of who can view it will be controlled at the folder level before it's controlled at the individual file level. So if you're posting the same date, you don't need to post it in both spots. Just post it on the folder level and you'll be all set. Okay, so then hit submit. Again, these items will appear at the bottom of your list, but you can use the arrows here to the left, drag them up, put them in whatever order you want. Okay, so there's an example of a content item. This is an example of a web link. So a web link is very similar. You're just posting the title of the item, and instead of attaching files, you're actually copy and pasting in the HTML link where you would like students to go. This is also a content item, the same as the one we just created. It just has multiple files attached, so please be aware you can attach multiple files to one content item. And then this also has just posted a table with a little bit of description about what it is you're doing with these files along with it. So that's just available if you need it. And then this is actually a file link. So under Build Content, instead of Create Item, you can do a file, but you notice with Attach File, you can only give it a name and browse your computer. You do not have a text box to enter any type of information about the file you're posting. So that's why most of the time we use Create Item, but if you prefer Create File and you don't need that box, that's fine too.